Welcome back to Thoughts of War. My name is Bart. This is my video on Origen. This is part of my series that I'm doing on early Christianity and nonviolence. Origen is only going to be a one-parter. The work I'm going to cover is his response to Celsus against Christianity. We have a little bit about Origen's life through Eusebius in his church history book, Book 6. He was born into a Christian family, and this was in Alexandria, Egypt. And his father was martyred when he was young. And also, towards the end of his life, he was tortured and persecuted under the reign of Decius. The persecution did not kill him, or at least not while he was in jail, but he did end up dying later because of the injuries he did receive under persecution. And in his response against Celsus, it just says clearly that he's entering the statements of Celsus. So Celsus wrote some work that was against Christianity, and this is Origen's response to that work. And main thing, towards the bottom says, "Who is our founder?" We reply that we are come agreeably to the counsels of Jesus. We come agreeably to the counsels of Jesus. A Christian should not be forced to believe in Christianity. This will be important in a few more videos. But you should be able to choose to follow Christ. And it goes on, it says, to cut down our hostile and insolent wordy swords into plowshares. So I'll admit to you, I don't really know what Origen's talking about with wordy swords, but you can see he's referencing Isaiah chapter 2, and he's also referencing it as this is something that has already happened. But if you continue on with the verses, with the text that he writes, it says, "For we no longer take up sword against nation, nor do we learn war anymore." So now he's going back. You can clearly say he's talking about Christians now are turning their swords into plowshares. And it says, having become children of peace for the sake of Jesus, who is our leader. So the reason we lay down our swords is because Jesus has told us to lay down our swords. Important thing to understand about nonviolence is that the reason Christians who are nonviolent is because Jesus has told them to be nonviolent. If Christ would have told us to live a different way, then we would try to live that way. But we just trust that God has a strategy that we may not fully understand, but somehow through nonviolence, he's having a desire to grow his kingdom. And it mentions he regulates the whole world by the word of his teaching. Christ is in control. And it may seem strange with nonviolence, because when you're nonviolent means, in a sense, you feel like you're not in control. If you have a gun, if you have something where you can physically defend yourself or physically make other people do what you want them to do, you kind of feel like you're in control. But when you come to the practice of nonviolence, in some ways you just have to have faith that God's got a plan and it's going to work out. Maybe the person who's about to shoot me is going to come to follow Christ, later years of his life. I don't know. That's one of those things. You just have to have faith. And so a couple things about Origen. It mentions that Jesus is the example for nonviolence. I mentioned that the world is not in chaos. Christ is in control. I want to give you this map here. These are the ones that we've talked about so far. Justin, Irenaeus, Tertullian, and Origen. Now, I have Irenaeus over Asia and Justin over Rome. But truly, these men, they traveled a lot, all of them, Tertullian, Origen, and if they weren't traveling, they were also writing letters to other people within the Roman Empire. But notice these men, they pretty much cover all the Roman Empire. Christianity had spread throughout this Roman Empire. And notice they all quote Isaiah chapter 2. They all talk about swords being being made into plowshares, that prophecy has already been fulfilled. So this is important for me to show you this map. This isn't just a few Christians believing this. This is pretty much an accepted practice of the early church. And let's keep going with a few more videos. My next one, let me just say this. I'm going to stop with the writings of the apologists and theologians. I hope I just browbeat you on that Isaiah chapter 2. But you can see, am I interpreting it? Maybe I'm interpreting it wrong. It could be the question that you're asking. Bart, you're maybe reading things out of context. You're just yanking that one chapter out of this one book. Maybe they don't really mean these things. So can we see other writings that are not from theologians? And so we're going to look into a few more things. The next one we're going to look into is the martyrdom of Marcellus. And then we're actually going to get into some other very interesting documents that seem to all agree with these early church writers. So please come on back for the next video.